Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dinosaur Facts. Nature is amazing. Over the many years of Earth's history, it has created many wonderful creatures to fill our zoos. But it's also pretty sadistic, and today we are going to talk about all the ways she'd fuck you sideways in a little place called Hell Creek. Remember to like and subscribe, or you'll get skewered by a Therizinosaurus. Picture this. You find yourself in a dense forest, and animal calls echo throughout. Maybe you'd be able to identify them, but you skipped out on the last Dinosaur Facts upload. You're in late Cretaceous Montana, or maybe one of the Dakotas, but I don't think people live there anyway. This is Hell Creek. Hell Creek had large flat plains with rivers running through them, heavy forests, and, well, forgot to mention, volcanoes and lava flows, so yeah, you're dead, because you're a dipshit. You're a logical little fella, so I'm sure you'd start off by looking for food. You can surely find berries around the forest, but that can be dangerous. Why? Fuck you. If you're not careful, you might run into one of Hell Creek's resident ankylosaurids. Ankylosaurus was a 33-foot long, 4-ton animal that has been called a living tank. Its entire body was covered in bony osteoderms from its tail to its literal fucking eyelids. So good luck gouging those out. Yeah, I know you were thinking it. Its tail also ended in a bony club, and if you got hit with this biological warhammer, it would probably shatter just about every bone in your frail, stupid-ass little body. These animals likely spent their days wandering the forests, foraging for food, and were probably very territorial, and lucky for you, you just started picking through this guy's favorite berry bush. Hope you weren't using that rib cage. After that complete fumble, you make your way to one of the many rivers in Hell Creek. But personally, I'd check that water because there's probably a Borealisuchus a-lurkin'. Borealisuchus was actually very similar to modern crocodiles, but that's because crocodiles are the evolutionary equivalent to that one kid who only plays the broken characters. And, well, while you were busy trying to piece that shitty analogy together, you just got grabbed by one. I hope you're not too attached to that leg, because it's probably coming off. To get back to the shelter of the forest, you have to cross a big field full of Edmontosaurus. Edmontosaurs were large herbivores that lived in giant herds and grazed for food for most of the day to sustain their massive bodies. Edmontosaurs grew to be about 40 feet long, the same size as a T-Rex, and weighed about 6 tons. And they probably weren't afraid to throw that weight around. I'd watch myself as I walked through a group of these fellers, because walking behind these guys would probably get you a hadrosaur foot to the skull. And then you'd feel really stupid, wouldn't you? But that probably won't be a problem anyway, since those Quetzalcoatlus flying above are really killing the vibe, and these Edmontosaurs are about to stampede. Once the herd begins to panic, they become a chaotic group of crackheads who will not let your delicate little body get in their way. Almost as dangerous as a Black Friday at Best Buy. Once the herd disperses, you pick yourself up and take a look around, and, unfortunately for your dumbass, you forgot about the Quetzalcoatlus circling overhead. Quetzalcoatlus was a part of an interesting group of pterosaurs called Asdarchids, and by interesting, I actually mean fucking terrifying. Asdarchids were much larger than your average pterosaur. This family contains the largest animals to ever take flight, and Quetzalcoatlus was a contender for the biggest even among these behemoths. You make a dash for the tree line, stupidly thinking that you'd be safe. But don't count your dinosaurs before they fossilize. Asdarchids like Quetzalcoatlus were actually unique among pterosaurs for another reason. They were just as effective hunters on land as in the sky. These animals could walk on their hands and feet and possibly even gallop, just as a fuck you to the local dinosaur population. From the ground they could hunt like a stork, using their long beaks to skewer their prey, including you, but hey, you'll know not to fuck with them for next time. After wandering in the forest for a while, you find a nice spot to set up camp for the night. You make a shelter, have a fire, and hey, your incompetent ass even managed to catch an Asonodon for dinner. Just as you're finally starting to relax after a long day of getting your shit pushed in, you hear a branch snap. Surely it was nothing to worry about, you think to yourself. But you know that's probably not true. Your eyes begin darting from left to right. Your campfire supplies a small life raft of light in the endless sea of black as the sun sets over the Cretaceous woodlands. But then you notice something. 2 small piercing eyes in the darkness. A sort of hooting sound comes from its direction, and you hear rustling as the animal approaches you. An Archaeoraptor, a dromaeosaurid that is barely higher than your knees. It stays a safe distance away from you, but you can tell it is still deciding if you're a threat or not. Before you even have a chance to think about what it means if it decides you're not, you suddenly hear a distant response to the animal's chirps and hoots. Between the trees, you suddenly notice a new set of eyes peering at you. Then another, and another. Then it's not long before you're being ripped to shreds by a large group of turkeys with steak knives on their toes. What's that? Probably wouldn't do that in real life. Well, fuck you. Once you write flames like that, that stays in the script. After picking up the remnants of your camp after the Archaeoraptor attack, you wander through the forest for hours. Eventually you find a small pool of water. The Cretaceous sun has been beating on the back of your neck, and the air is more humid than a Floridian's ass crack. You lean down and take a drink. After you finish, you notice a small dinosaur looking at you from some nearby bushes, and quickly run away. It's a Thescelosaurus, a small herbivore covered in quills like a porcupine. It's probably not cuddly, but it would be very yummy in your tummy. You quickly pick up your things and begin to do your best to track it through the forest. Your middle-class suburban upbringing doesn't make you the most proficient hunter, but you somehow find it after a few hours on its trail. But maybe it was luck. It was probably luck, let's be real. It stands in a small clearing, shifting between taking bites from a bush and spinning its head around, searching for threats. It knows you're nearby. You pick up a conveniently sharp rock on the ground next to you and prepare to attack. But then something fucky happens. Your stomach gurgles. But that wasn't any normal stomach ache. We're talking Taco Bell bathroom, Ben & Jerry's on lactose intolerance type of hurt. You grab your stomach and keel over. Yeah, and that's when the shit starts coming. My God, it hurts. How can it be hot and cold at the same time? What is happening to me, you ask? Not gonna lie, bro. You probably should not have drank that water. Hey, dysentery existed back then too, and that water was rank as fuck. You drank that and you thought there wouldn't be consequences? By this point, the Thescelosaurus noticed you convulsing on the ground and ran away, so nice job, Einstein. You better hope a dinosaur hears you soon, because that would be a mercy compared to the torment your body's about to endure. You've now decided that the forest is not the place for you, and are looking to make camp somewhere more suitable to your non-existent survival skills. You're now looking out over the Western Interior Seaway, an ancient sea that split North America down the middle, from the furthest north of Canada almost completely uninterrupted down through to Mexico. It's actually pretty nice here. You walk out onto the beach and watch a group of Podomornis sitting on top of the water before diving for fish. A pack of Anzu can also be seen picking crabs off the beach and crushing them in their beaks. As the sun sets over Hell Creek, you feel at peace. And that's why you're stupid, because while you were taking in the scenery like some kind of retiree, you failed to notice that the Podomornis have quickly made an escape from something lurking underneath the water. You look down at the water just in time to see two gigantic rows of teeth and the forked tongue of a mosasaur rush up out of the water and swallow you almost whole. Mosasaurs were the dominant predator of the Cretaceous seas, and it's actually very entitled of you to have thought that you could exist near the water without one of these 15-ton behemoths taking you out of the gene pool. For shame.
I'm not afraid of you!
Well, now that you've developed a whole new fear of the ocean, you move back inland to a grassland. Everywhere so far has been very unwelcoming, so you walk aimlessly, hoping that you can find somewhere to spend the night. The sun is just barely hanging above the horizon, so you need to find somewhere fast. Unless you enjoyed what those Archaeoraptors did to you last time, I don't judge. As you reminisce about all the ways this place has broken you so far, you hear a crunch as you walk. You look down, and it was a clutch of eggs. You get that sinking feeling in your stomach you're all too familiar with at this point in your little vacation, as animals all around you begin to wake up and rise from out of the tall grass. These animals stand on two legs, are about as tall as you, and have big bony domes on the top of their skulls. Pachycephalosaurus, a 900-pound herbivore with a really shitty personality. They used their bony-ass craniums to headbutt anything they perceive as a problem, and you might have just made the cut. As you try and gauge how fucked you are, one of them cracks you right in the nose. After he hits you, you are thrown into the dinosaur standing behind you, and you're hit again. You don't even have time to count the number of ribs it just broke before you're sent flying towards the ground by another one in front of you. As you stand back up, the animals keep attacking you and break just about every bone you have, even your favorites. Have fun walking that one off. After the pachycephalosaurs get bored playing with your mutilated corpse, you get back up and hobble towards the forest. Going to sleep sure sounds nice right about now. You just have to find some shelter and you'll be fine. But fate heard that one, and she's not letting you off that easy. Do you really think you'd be safe after leaving a trail of blood behind you anyway? You begin to hear rustling in the grass behind you. You spin backwards and look out over the field, but see nothing. Must have been the wind, you think, before you hear more rustling, followed by hisses, chirps, and low growls. Then you see something move through the grass quickly about 50 feet in front of you. You've seen Jurassic Park too, so you know how this ends, and book it as fast as you can towards the tree line. As you run, the pounding of reptilian feet can be heard behind you as they shove the grass out of the way and make a beeline right for you. Now you can see them. Dakota raptors. And finally you can appreciate how truly fucked you are. Dakota raptors were the second largest dromaeosaurs known to JIT, at up to 20 feet long and 700 pounds. You notice two more, one on either side of you, and it looks like they had a better mark in gym class than you did. Suddenly, one of them pounces. Before you even have a chance to struggle, it sinks its toe claw into the side of your neck. Once you're back within the forest, you immediately collapse and fall asleep. I could go over all the horrible things that could happen to you while you're out, but I'll just assume you know at this point and we can move on. Once you're awake, you hear crashing and some sort of struggle interrupted by loud animal noises from a clearing nearby. And since for this to work, I need you to behave like a horror movie protagonist, you walk towards it to investigate. You found a herd of Triceratops. Triceratops, as you're probably aware, were 30-foot-long, 6-ton herbivores that came equipped with gigantic heads that offered both armor and weapons. And you stumbled upon them right in the middle of mating season. Two big males are seen squared up with each other before charging and locking horns. I'd be careful navigating around here if you're not down to become a shish kebab. But, unluckily for you, it would seem that some of the animals have already turned their attention towards you. And, more bad luck, you decided to run directly between the two males as they charged towards each other. That one's probably a closed casket. And just as your body's recovering from getting squished between two 6-ton living forks, you feel the ground begin to tremble. Round 2 from that dirty water earlier? No, something else to make you shit yourself. As you stand up, you can see it staring you down from about 200 feet away. A Tyrannosaurus. The apex predator here at Hell Creek, and possibly the most efficient killing machine ever shit out by evolution. This animal had a bite force of about 12,500 pounds, enough to crush bone like a soda can. It also came equipped with teeth the length of bananas, some of the best eyesight of any animal, and puny fucking arms that could still bench more than you. The animal starts to walk towards you. You could run, but unless you're a trained athlete, and let's be real, you're not, no shot do you get away. Upside though, its bite is so strong, you're probably not going to feel it anyway. Shit, I was so wrong. That looks like that fucking hurts. My bad, bro. Well, looks like you probably aren't going to make it, but hopefully that was still entertaining. If you liked that video, it would mean a lot if you dropped a like and subscribed. And let me know, maybe this will become a series. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, boys. Bye.